Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Honey Flow Talk Show. I'm really excited to bring on the next guest. He's definitely a veteran in the game of music. You could tell he's a true music lover. He's done so much in Toronto, in Canada, in general. So I'm really excited to just sit down with him, hear his experience. I remember going to his, events over the years. I don't think he really knew, but like I'd always kind of kind of sneak over, the table. Turntables were pretty high, some of the tables, especially at the Hot Steppers events. They had this very tall, large booth, and I'd always try to like smuggle my way behind them just to see what they were doing, and taking notes. I'm like, wow, like their sets are so brilliant. So he's definitely someone that is really versatile with music and different genres and just connecting people, and a really down to earth DJ, which I really truly appreciate, with so many less years of experience as he has. So we're going to bring him in. And I just wanted to also thank you guys so much. I was able to reach my $1,000 goal. It took me all month to get to the $1,000 for DJ D-Man for his breast cancer awareness. So thank you guys so much. That goal was so dear to my heart. It was a really heartfelt special yesterday. I actually got emotional on my show yesterday once we hit the $1,000. So I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Everyone that donated bits, subs, and also, donated directly to the breast cancer link. That definitely goes out to all my friends that have passed away and have done great, amazing things here. Definitely thinking about them this month. So thank you guys so much. I heard DJ D Man is, I believe, over $44,000 for his raid train for Beats for a Cure. Over $44,000. That is incredible. And I'm going to be hopefully going to the Toronto clinic. It's at Midtown, and there's also one on Bay Street. So I emailed them. I'm hoping to try to connect with someone there and just to tell them what DJ D-Man did in Cleveland and how these funds are being distributed, not only at the Cleveland clinic, but also the Toronto clinic in the UK, in New York. It's so incredibly amazing what Twitch can do and what this community can do when we come together. So just wanted to let you guys know that I'm forever grateful for everything, all the contributions and everything that's happened. So I see a few people coming in the door as well. We got Jamie QT. Thank you for coming through. I think I've met you at the Twitch group, right? We got Lil Kim as well. Music Spasms, great to see you too. And we got Earflow in the building. And thanks for coming through, guys. I truly appreciate it. So let's bring in, of course, the one and only Djpaulelopes. It's going to be a great conversation today.
Oh,
Hey,
hello.
how you doing?
Good. It was getting lonely backstage here.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I had to kind of mention at least with what happened this week because it was such a big raid train.
And
So
congratulations on the fundraising. That's
yeah,
awesome.
thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So we are definitely going to, talk the next couple hours. I've been so interested in hearing your experience and just your life experience in general. So I'm just curious, are you actually originally from Toronto or
I'm
from somewhere else?
originally, no, born in Toronto. There was a hospital just northeast, a couple of streets over from Kensington Market. It was called Doctor's Hospital. I was born there a long
Hmm.
time ago. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
originally from Toronto. Not a lot of people you find are because the city's grown so much. But yeah, born
Yeah,
and
for
bred.
sure. So
Yeah.
how would you like describe Toronto to people that are watching globally that really don't know too much about the city as well?
Well, it's changed a lot over the years, but I would say that it is actually probably one of the coolest cities in the world right now, because we have a sort of innocence still,
Hmm.
and we're still growing. The whole world is watching what we're doing. A lot of that thanks to Drake, I think, our
Hmm.
our brand ambassador for Toronto and the Raptors winning, and just the growth and excitement that you feel in Toronto. It's definitely a city to watch.
Yeah.
Not that I've been to every city in the world, but I think eyes are on us, which is great.
Yeah, for sure, which is awesome. Yeah. So I'm just curious too, like where did your love from music originate or where did it start and how long have you been doing this for too as a DJ?
I started messing around with records. It's hard to believe, but it's 40 years this year, 1982.
Wow.
Yeah. So my neighborhood was pretty much a low income neighborhood, a lot of new immigrants, and I heard a lot of reggae music in my neighborhood. Uh, there was four buildings in a
Hmm.
square, and as like a young kid, 5, 6 years old, I'd hear reggae rhythms coming out of apartment buildings. So people would set up their sound systems towards the park in the middle of these four buildings, and I'd hear reggae rhythms like do doom 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 do do, and like guys on the mic there, rib bong, skank, hey, and I would just soak this in. I just thought this was a normal thing as a kid to hear this music, and it really did penetrate into me and give me my love for music and rhythm, and just to pursue and to understand a lot of the music that I heard around me over the
Wow.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And like culturally, you play a lot of different music too, like, house, of course, and hip hop and reggae. And do you have like a specific favorite genre that you like if you had to pick one?
Um, if it was Desert Island, I would probably pick lovers rock reggae, like smooth reggae.
Hmm.
and roots reggae, and because that's kind of what I first heard, I believe. Like that really caught my ear, and I have a deep appreciation for sort of mellow soul. So 70s, sort of like Curtis Mayfield, Stevie Wonder, artists along those lines. That's
Oh,
if anything, I would always go back to that music uh, anytime. Yep, it
amazing.
always suits the mood.
Yeah, that's awesome. We also have Pedro in the building from Hot
Hot
Steppers.
stepper.
I remember I always go to your events. You guys probably don't know, but I definitely have over the years, you
So
know.
Honey Flow is on the guest list for all future events,
Aw,
Pedro. There we go.
that's nice. Oh, yes, perfect. But yeah, I'd always be dancing like crazy along with everyone else there. The guy smacking the wall. I don't know who that guy is. The guy always smacking the wall at Hot Steppers. He's probably like, punched a hole in the wall. I don't know if you know the guy. Always wears the hat, always smacking the wall all the
Who
time.
is this? I
He's
mean, yeah,
across from the DJ booth.
that's the compliment. Anybody smacking the wall and putting holes in drywall is definitely a compliment. That's like
Yeah.
winning a trophy.
But I
We're,
think I've started a few Soul Train lines on that rooftop
what?
patio too. I've started a few Soul
Nice.
Train lines with you guys. The only thing
Nice.
I didn't like is the booth was too high. So I was like a live lurker on all you guys. You didn't know, but you had to kind of smuggle your way upstairs and I could never see what you guys were doing because that booth was too high for me.
Oh man, yeah. Like what's good about it is the booth being so high, so you could see everybody. You could see you had the full view of the patio, and it was pretty amazing to see. Certain songs would come on, and everybody just raise their hands, go crazy, and it was a special time, really. Too bad when you're not able to do it there anymore, but hopefully in the future, next summer we'll find a spot to do it in the same way.
Yeah, because it was a great spot. I don't they didn't they close down the entire I don't know if they closed down the entire thing or changed ownership?
They've relaunched it under a new name, and they poured a lot of money into it, and it's beautiful.
Mhm.
And hopefully we'll get to do something there again. I think there was some events earlier this summer that we
Mhm.
were involved in, and hopefully in the future we'll get to be there again.
Yeah, for sure. So we got DJ Channel 9 in the building,
Oh
another
man,
like amazing DJ. Music
yes.
Spasms as well, now in Ottawa.
Hey,
He's a true music lover too. If he doesn't have turntables, he should buy some because he knows his music. We got Jamie. I think I met her right at
you
the
met
Twitch
Jamie
event with you
QT at the
guys. Yeah.
barbecue.
Okay.
Yeah.
How you doing, Jamie? Great to see you again too. And we got Earflow in the building. Hopefully I said that right. This girl, Xtina, again, thanks for coming through and donating. She says DJ D-Man's now at $45,000 for a 6-day raid for breast cancer, which is
Amazing.
amazing, incredible. Lots of hard work, So make sure everyone in the room adds DJ Paulie Lopez as well. I got to throw up his link here so you guys have it. So you've been doing this since 82. Do you feel like you're still learning um,
Absolutely,
as a DJ?
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. There's always different techniques to learn. There's always different sort of styles, and it's DJing has evolved. And
Hmm.
like for an example, right now, what was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Serato came out with Serato stems,
Hmm.
and that's where you could drop out the vocals, you could drop out the bass line, you could take out the vocals altogether. That was unheard of only if like a couple years ago, and it brings a whole new element to DJing if you care to do it that way. So there's always something to learn. There's always new equipment. There's always new music. In order to keep going, you got to adapt to these things.
For sure.
So I don't think there's any end to DJing really.
I
There's
was
no.
gonna ask too if you feel like because I mean, you came from that era where it was definitely the turntables and the mic, right? So what do you think about all this technology changing to and evolving? Because a lot of vinyl DJs are like, that's not DJing, and
Yeah.
you're using technology. But I do realize I went to the Apple store. I took a few courses there for video audio, and that's what they did with GarageBand, where you could add drums, percussions, like you could add all this stuff so you could really make like a weekend song that's a house song into, or a top 40 song into like a cameo 1980s funk song. And I
Right.
guess stems is, I don't know if it has like drums and all these different things you could add on there. Um,
Uh, well, Stems is basically um, the software within Serato where you could take out the vocals, or you could have just the vocals, or
mhm.
just the percussion and the bass. Like there's different presets to it. It doesn't actually you don't actually add stuff in, but if you need an acapella for a track, um, you just push a button and boom, acapella, no music.
Wow,
Yeah, so it's
crazy.
pretty crazy. Yeah,
So it's definitely going, and I knew at the Apple Store it would go that way. Like DJing's probably going to go on the spot like that, where you could just start producing as well and just throwing in different things eventually in the future.
yeah,
And
on the fly. Yeah.
yeah. So how do you feel about that coming from the era you came from? Like, and then with all these controllers, technology now, how do you feel about that?
I think it's great because it's a lot of stuff that we dreamed of having many years ago, and it's here now. It's not. I don't personally adopt all the new technology. I still like the basic two turntables with Serato. But to see the possibilities, I spend a lot of time online just watching other DJs and what is possible and how they're using the technology that's there, and I love it because I love music, but also love DJ culture.
Hmm.
So Twitch has come around in a great time where it's just like to watch everybody's techniques, everybody's styles. Um, it's just amazing. And I'm not the greatest scratcher, so I have to spend time watching a guy like Scratch Bastard every
Oh,
week do his
crazy.
thing. It's mind blowing like that. We could sit in our homes and watch these guys throw
Yeah.
down. Yeah, and I've learned a lot in the last couple
Hmm.
of years. Because there's always people coming in with a different style, different technique, and you pick up a little from one person, a little from another. I watch Channel 9 every day, every time he's on, and learn from him when he's
Yeah,
with it.
he's really
I
good
learned I
too.
learned how
Yeah.
to head bop from him.
Oh, yeah? I know, it's so awkward. Everyone's like, "Just dance side to side." I'm like, "I can't. I'm trying to just mix this song," and look at
Yeah.
the chat. Like, I'm not like you guys, but, wow. Yeah, so it's interesting. So how long would you say? Because you guys are veterans in the game. Like, I literally consider you guys, like, whether you can scratch or not, like, up there with starting from scratch, scratch fasted. Like, I just feel like the DJs here are so exceptionally good. Like, what would you say to someone that's just starting out? Like, how long did it take you to actually learn the process of DJing too? Because I just want to encourage ones that are could be intimidated when they see guys like you and then they're on Twitch or they're trying to do a show, like what would you say how long it took you to do, and what advice would you give to them as well?
Well, I don't think there's a time frame. It's just how much you want to put into it. I think that the main thing is to decide what you like, what music you like, how you like to present it, because ultimately DJing really is playing good music for your audience. That changes from gig to gig. That changes from being online to a party. Um, just go out there and study and have fun of what other people do. Take a little bit from everything you hear from other people and put it into your own style and practice. Sit in your home, make mixtapes for your friends. Put a mix online, on Mixcloud. You don't even have to necessarily beat match. That's an element that is kind of forgotten, but it's not all about beat matching. It's about presenting the music a certain way. Like
Hmm.
there's a lot of reggae DJs that don't beat match at all, just talk between tracks or like find the right spot to kind of cut stuff in and make it sound amazing. And they're more skilled than, a guy that's beat matching for 8 hours straight and not really putting it together in a way that creates a vibe. So there's so many techniques, there's so many styles that you could sort of pursue. You got to figure out what you like and how you want to present it. And
Mhm.
you might be a guy that never goes on the mic. You could be a DJ that never goes on the mic. You could be a DJ that talks over every track.
Mhm.
And they're both, uh, they both have their own set of skills and styles that I would encourage people to figure out what speaks to them. Uh,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, so I don't think there is a certain timeline. There are an amount of hours that you need to put in, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll be.
Hmm.
And even for myself, like I don't feel like I put enough time into to the practice. And every gig is like, okay, let's see how this goes, and let's have
Hmm.
some fun. So yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting that you said that too, because you're right. There are radio DJs, there's DJs that do corporate weddings, which I would consider myself more of, like,
right,
than a club DJ. You guys
yeah.
are like club DJs. How comfortable would you say you feel on the mic too? I don't know if I've heard you tons actually. I don't know
I'm
actually,
pretty
because you're
comfortable on the mic. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm pretty comfortable. Yeah. In the right
Oh,
scenario,
okay.
like I love like having a laugh on the mic or shutting
Hmm.
people out. Uh, there for us at Bump and Hustle when we did it for 20 years, they'd reach
Hmm.
a point in the party. It's like, okay, now's the time to talk to the crowd and get them hyped up because now they're in here, they're comfortable, they're getting their first drink, and it's time to kind of get this to another level. So the mic can be a very important part of the party. It could be as Jamie QT, there are parties where people talk too much on the mic
Hmm. Hmm.
and turn some people off, but there's a healthy balance in there somewhere.
Yeah, like a lot of reggae DJs definitely constantly talk on the mic,
Not
you
naming
know?
any names, but
But then I
yeah,
constantly talk on the mic, like, on Twitch, but
right,
I don't when I'm out playing because you're just playing the music, it's a bit different. Yeah,
yeah.
so that's
I
interesting.
I think like you mentioned corporate events and weddings and that sort of thing.
Mhm,
Like a wedding, I think it's great when someone MCs a wedding really well because it makes people if they're addressing their crowd properly, they're making them feel comfortable, getting them on the floor because oftentimes who's going to be the first to get on the dance floor. They know how to play games to get everybody to stand up
mhm.
and make a beeline to the dance floor. So there's so many there are so many ways that it could be done, but just being comfortable and addressing the crowd and knowing your crowd is essentially the most important part.
That's true. So, when you first started out, were you, like, using, like, Radio Shack kind of equipment, or what was your first
Yes.
pieces of equipment? Or was it, like, an 8-track, or, like, what was it actually? And even
so
2? Trying to think.
so I'm not the only one, but most people of my generation would have like took their parents' turntable
Mhm,
and made a mess of it really. So one technique that I learned from someone named Warren Isaacs that actually does music for a lot of TV and movies. Currently he's a bass player. um, he figured out that if you took one turntable and assigned it to the left channel
mhm.
and then took another turntable and wired it into the right channel, that could be your crossfade. So left,
Oh,
right.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, on the big old consoles that had like wood paneling, like
Mhm.
the early 80s, late 70s. So that was my first kind of system of DJing. And you're right, Radio Shack, the realistic mixer with the crossfade, I still have one. Not my original one, because that is gone, but
Mhm.
DJ Mike Tull, my DJ partner, handed me over his old realistic mixer. So I still have it in the basement.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible. Oh, I should have asked you to pull it out. That would be cool to actually kinda see, but
I will
it
put it on Instagram.
yeah, okay, if it's in the basement. So,
Yeah.
have you collected a lot, like, kept a lot of the gear that you've had over the years or just given it away? Like
I haven't had a lot of gear because
hmm,
like I've always stuck to 1200 Technics 1200s, which I've had for I don't know 30 something years. I started off on Technics 200s,
mhm.
which are not even a
Wow.
DJ turntable with a little pitch. The pitch was a round thing that you had to kind of fiddle with your thumb to get the pitch right.
Mhm.
And they're belt driven, so not DJ turntables, but they did the trick for the first few years. Saved up money, and my brother was into DJing at one point, and that's what kind of got me into the equipment and or able to get the equipment because at 12, 13 years old, you just don't have the money to do it.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah,
Do you remember how much it was way back then when you bought your equipment and everything?
Well, the realistic mixer, I believe on sale was $99.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was I
Crazy.
think in the real Radio Shack catalog, I think it was 150, and I we waited until it went on sale because you'd see it on sale on the flyer once in a while,
Mhm.
and it was $99, and it was a
Man,
pretty good mixer, and it still is, to be honest.
that's amazing. That I
Yeah,
find more of the older products, like, are more durable than today. It's
they
kinda
are.
like Apple phones here, right? Like,
Yeah,
you're constantly buying new parts, but if you have something from even a car, if you have 20 something from 20, 30 years ago, it's still lasting, you
yeah,
know?
appliances
So
for sure.
yeah,
You don't expect
exactly.
a fridge to last more than 3, 4 years nowadays.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, Pedro says, "Don't sweat the techniques."
Don't sweat the techniques. I've sweated over techniques a few times, more than a few times.
It sounds like a rap song. Who says
That's
who says
Eric B.
that?
and Rakim. Eric
I
B.
was
and
gonna say
Rakim.
Big Daddy Kane. I'm, like, trying to remember. Okay, yeah,
At the
Eric
era,
B.
yeah, yeah.
Don't sweat the techniques, yeah.
Eric B. and Rakim, yeah.
Radio Shack. Did any of you DJs in the room have Radio Shack equipment? Leave a message. I have a feeling you did, DJ Channel 9.
I'm
Let
sure
us
that
know.
did.
We got, That Boy in the House, great to see you. They say, "Until the belts broke."
Right, right. They did bring in this stretch, and then you get the wrong speed on the turntable.
And what do you guys think? What did you like the best? Because we went from what, like 8 tracks, vinyl, cassette tapes. I hated CDs, they always scratched. And
Right.
cassette tapes, you always had to rewind with your pencil. Like,
Okay, you're too young to know about A track, so we're gonna eliminate that one.
I don't know if I'm that young. Maybe just a tad, but I don't know.
You've
We're
seen them.
probably around the same age. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I might have missed them a little bit, the 8-track era. DJ 101, aka Boa Ninjas. How
Pyramid
you doing?
mixer. Pyramid mixer. That was a great little mixer just in the early days too.
And he says with the wood trim. Actually, I don't
Yes.
know. I'm gonna have to Google that after. I'm not sure.
A lot of
Um,
mixers were made with wood trim. I don't know why, but
wow,
to make it look like furniture, I guess, or something.
really?
Yeah.
That must have been. Was it a lot heavier, or
No, not
no?
particularly heavy. No, no, no. It's just I don't even know if it was actual real wood, but
Yeah.
they have a wood finish, especially on the sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
That boy says Gemini, a scratch master, and Pedro says reel to reel. Um,
Pedro didn't have a reel to reel.
Music Spasm says, I used to record the radio on the 8-track. Oh, I didn't even know you could do that from radio. I just remember cassettes on from the ghetto blaster kind of thing. So,
Yeah, a
have
lot
you
of
ever, sorry?
I was gonna say the old consoles would have a turntable, an 8 track, if they were from like the late 70s
Hmm.
or anytime in the 70s, really. A turntable that like you pile up the records and it would like boom boom, it would put one down at a time as they
Hmm.
after playing them. It would have a radio receiver in it, built in, and an 8 track. And then at some point they actually allowed you to record on those 8 tracks. So I think that's what he was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so how many pairs of techniques have you gone through? Has it just been one, or you've had a few?
Just the same pair I've had since
What?
the '80s. Yeah,
Are
there's
you
nothing. I mean,
serious? That's crazy.
they're kind of indestructible. I mean,
Wow.
like I've had it serviced, and
Yeah.
actually I need to get one of them serviced now because the wire is kind of chipping out.
Hmm.
Yeah, and one of them I bought used, so uh, they're pretty indestructible. If you take care of them, there's not much that really goes wrong with them other than having to change the needle. Sometimes that little rest where the tone arm sits on breaks. It's a plastic piece, but
Hmm.
you can live without it.
Wow, that's amazing. I don't know if you've met I Am Old School. He's another brilliant DJ from
No,
Toronto
hello,
that's in France that lives in France now.
salute.
He's a crazy turntablist DJ as well. You guys got to connect. Or Full Blast Radio is another one. I think you'd appreciate if you guys like Scratch Basted and so much skill in the room. How many hours would you say, if you remember back from the 80s, would you say that you actually practiced and you're like, okay, I get it now? Like, how many hours would you say you put in?
I don't even know if it was practice. Like I never really thought of it that way. We just
Hmm.
after school hit the turntables, play some records, mess around.
Mhm.
make a mixtape, because that's actually a lot of thing. And some guys in the chat will attest to this. Is you'd get requests from people in your class in your school say, "Hey, you know music, make me a
Mhm.
mixtape."
Yeah.
And I know DJ Agile that he has a story of that, and that's how he got into DJing. He loved music, got records, and
Mhm.
got asked by Culture, which is a famous barber in Markham, a good friend of his. They went to school
Oh,
together.
okay.
Yeah, he was asked, like, listen, make me a mixtape. It's like, oh wow, you're excited. Someone's actually to give you money to do a tape of music.
Mhm.
Incredible.
That is
And
incredible.
yeah, and that was kind of a motivator for me to DJ, and get the word out that I have some cool records, and I can mix them together and come up with clever stuff to entertain. And yeah, so the tapes would circulate, people would copy them and reach other people. It's like, oh, you're the guy that made that tape, eh?
Mhm.
I actually kind of cheated sometimes, and I taped tracks that I didn't have off the radio. I mixed
Oh,
those.
yeah?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I
The
mixed them
Memorex
onto the
tape.
mixtapes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I still have those, the Memorex tape. I'm trying to get a Ghetto
Memorex.
Blaster and a Walkman again to see if I could play because you hear the little crackling, like, on the
Yeah.
tapes, kinda like the vinyl. So, you must have quite the collection of vinyl, and I know I've asked you this before, but do you know approximately how much vinyl you have?
I've never counted, but I could guesstimate about not that much. You know what? I've bought and sold records for the last, I don't know, 25 years. I
Mhm.
never really wanted to have so many records that it was overwhelming. So I've bought tons of records, and at some point it's like, don't need this one anymore, don't need that one, and sold. And I was actually a record dealer, and have been a record dealer for well over 25 years. So I've kind of kept it down to maybe 5,000 records, I think.
Wow. How do
Yeah.
you organize that? You must be so organized because when you think about it, you're only getting 1 or 2 tracks probably from each record, like, you're constantly having to flip them. How do you remember, like, everything? Is it
Where stuff is. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
yeah. Oh, you
everybody
don't?
has their own systems. Big up to a guy like DJ Aristotle that seems
Mhm,
to intuitively know exactly where his records are. If you ask him for a request, he'll like
mhm.
go behind on his shelf. Oh, here it is. Boom. He finds track records quicker than we are able to search them on Serato with the search feature.
That's
The man is
crazy.
incredible.
Yeah.
So he is extremely organized. Me, not as much. So I kind of just have my house records together.
Mhm,
I have my albums, which mostly soul, are alphabetized, so that's fairly organized. Jazz is together.
mhm.
Disco 12 inches are together, and that's kind of my system. You kind of develop a sort of memory of where something is more or less. You go
Mhm.
in that section and find it. That's
Oh,
how I do it. If it was Jamie's laughed at me because she's seen. I have a futon downstairs that
wow.
is just where the records just go to rest.
Yeah, it's like you
That's
need another room or you need,
yeah.
like, a few rooms for them.
I
Yeah,
have the space. It's just the organization. The time to put them back in order is just like it's the least fun part of it. But like I said, you kind of develop a sense of where the records are, and hopefully you could find them.
for sure. Jamie, have you ever, dabbled in DJing or
She
tried or
should.
Yeah,
She
I think you
should.
should. We need more ladies out here too, especially in Toronto, so I always big up the ladies quite
She
a
will
bit.
be the next big female soca DJ out of Toronto.
Oh, nice, because I
I
know
said
she's
it
a
here.
dancer. I've seen her. I know she's
Ooh.
a dancer too,
Ooh.
so she'll be a triple threat for
Oh
sure.
man, crazy. Yeah.
We got SOSC in the building. How you doing? Thanks for coming through. That boy as well. Jamie says she prefers Sony tapes.
If you know
Yeah.
what, there was a preference in those days. I mean, I don't think it could really compete with Maxwell tapes, but yeah, Sony. Some guys stuck to Sony. Some DJs wanted Sony TDK. Yep,
Yeah, I got Memorex or whatever it's called, those
Memorex.
yellow
Yeah.
tapes. I remember there was someone that threw me in a pool in grade 8, and I was so upset because I had my Diggable
Oh
Planets tape in
wow,
my back pocket,
wow.
and he threw me in the pool with the tape in my back pocket. I spent 5 hours unwinding that tape, the
Amazing.
chlorine and like drying it out because I love diggable planets and
Fun fact,
yeah.
I was one of the first people to ever interview Diggle Planets.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
for
That would have
Street
been
Sound magazine.
wow, that would have been amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Um,
pretty cool.
how many like who else did you actually interview too? And you just mentioned you work for the magazine, work for a magazine
Um,
before?
yeah, Street Sound magazine out of Toronto that
Mhm.
had international distribution.
Mhm.
I interviewed Jamiroquai. I did the sort of jazzy end of it. It was a dance magazine that covered a lot of genres, but I kind of stuck to the sort of more jazzy end of it. I interviewed Jamiroquai,
Wow.
Donald Byrd, George Clinton,
Oh my gosh, amazing.
just to name a few. It's I don't even remember everybody, but and we would get the music in, and Kayla says hi. Hello, Kayla. Sorry. Uh, we would, yeah, we get on it, talk to publicists, and try to get an interview with whoever we were interested. So it's a lot of
That's
fun.
amazing. Did you
Good
ever how
times.
long did you work there for too?
Street Sound last went on about 10 years, and I
Mhm.
was, it wasn't a job per se. It was just like a chance to, to be involved in the music industry. And I would say I was there about 4 years, maybe in the early
Wow.
'90s. Yeah, yeah,
I know Ladybug was my hero, like, I dressed like her in junior high, high school, like, because 'cause they're very, like, floetic, like, very,
yeah.
poetic too as well when they rapped, like, that
She
jazzy hip hop.
she has a Brazilian background,
Oh,
and
nice.
I remember, busting out a few Portuguese words with her.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Which brings me to my question too. What is your background? I was trying to
Portuguese.
figure it out. Are you? Oh,
Portuguese from Portugal.
because I was wondering. Because is your real name, like, Paulie Lopez? Or
The
is that, like, a
E
stage name? You don't have to
the
say your real name,
the
but
E was kind of added in, but yes, that's my name.
okay, because
That's
I
my
was
government name.
wondering, Lopez, I was like, "I wonder if he's Spanish with Lopez." I was trying to figure it out. That
Yes,
makes sense.
it's the
Portuguese.
same. Yeah, it's the same name. In Spanish speaking countries, they use the Z,
Mhm.
and in Portugal we use S. So it is Lopez, the same as Lopez, but Portuguese would use an S at the end.
Okay, and do you ever, like, do any Portuguese events or, incorporate that, music as well? No?
I have no idea about Portuguese music. Unfortunately, I should, but I don't. It's
I've
not the
played a
music.
little bit. I've had
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
a few Portuguese events here. Yeah.
yeah. I actually did play a Portuguese wedding. Well, one of the groom, sorry, the bride is Portuguese, and I did a little research and found some Portuguese music, and they, you get requests from the bride and groom to play certain songs, and you find them somehow.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I don't. I remember I played a place on College Street where the
Mhm.
owner is Portuguese, or the place is not there anymore. But I remember he brought a flyer to me like, look who I'm bringing. And it was
Mhm.
like Roberto Ferreira or something, some Portuguese name. And I was like, oh, cool. I had no
You had
idea
no
who he was.
idea?
Yeah, I googled
Wow.
him later and found out, oh, he's kind of a big deal. His music's cool, but I don't really have a connection to Portuguese music.
Okay.
Um,
DJ Chanel, Channel 9, I always say Chanel. Channel 9
I eat
says he
Spanish
eats
food.
Spanish food, so that might maybe counts.
Paella, paella, yes.
He's like, "Pure
Pure
Puri
festivals.
festivals." That's funny. Yeah,
Oh, I'm
Portuguese.
there.
Hey, Junior. They love their, custards too,
The
Portuguese
custard
or the
cupcakes.
desserts or that
Pastel
sort of
de nata. Nata is the word for custard in Portuguese. Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of pressure when if I do a Portuguese event or Spanish, because most people assume that's what I am too. So there's a
I
lot of
did.
pressure, like, when I'm doing those events. Even when you tell them you're not, there's still pressure on you to
Oh
make sure
yeah.
you're on point for those events. But
I assumed you
I
were
love the
Hispanic.
culture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, not at all. Yeah, but I do love the culture though, like, Portuguese culture too, I think is amazing. Very warm people. I love that, you know.
And the
Um,
food.
yes, and the food is amazing. We got DJ Mickey in the building. How you doing?
Mikey.
Mikey. See, I always get these names wrong. You
Yeah,
never
that's
corrected
Mikey.
me. I've been calling you Mickey forever. DJ Mikey. We got DJ Jonah in the building as well. Oh yes, DJ Channel 9 says US. What is it? Jamaican
That's
flag
that's Jamaican
trading
flag.
traded for
First
Pauly.
round.
Yeah, I feel like you're
Wow.
Caribbean in the inside. I do, you know?
I probably ate enough Caribbean food. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you still living like right in Toronto or are you
I live
some
just outside, I live on the outskirts of Toronto, yeah,
Oh,
95.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Awesome. So like interviewing all these amazing artists like you mentioned Diggable Planets and others, were you ever nervous interviewing any of them?
You know what? No. You know why? Because in my mind, they are peers.
Mhm.
They kind of do the same thing we do. They have, I'm not a rapper or at the time I wasn't even a producer, but I just feel like they kind of like I relate to them on some level.
Mhm.
They're peers to me. They're not. I mean, interviewing Donald Byrd was a different level because he was one of the most renowned trumpet players of all time.
Mhm.
Going back to the '50s, he recorded with Miles Davis, and um, he's from the bebop era. So interviewing him was a different level of respect. But interviewing Diggle Planets, I'm like, these guys, they have a similar experience that I have in music. They probably pursued a
Mhm.
different way, but I always thought of more as like, hey, this is some new friends to me. People, I would interview them in ways that I could relate to them. Talking
Mhm.
about maybe what records they sampled or what their lyrics mean, and basically, part fan, part peer is how I
Mhm.
kind of look at it. Yeah.
So have you ever gotten nervous, like, on a stage in front of a crowd, like, a massive crowd? Because you guys really do big crowds as well, like, over the years, have you ever had a situation like that where you're a little bit nervous, even on Twitch? Like
I was quite nervous this summer. Asked Jamie
yeah?
behind, yeah, before getting on stage at
Mhm,
the Groovin' in the Park Festival, which was one of the bigger events that I've done in the last few years. There
mhm,
must have been, I don't know, maybe a couple thousand people there in the park. Um, Things were going a little weird, in terms of production. They put me on earlier than expected. But
mhm,
behind this stage, I haven't been in front of a big crowd. It's actually not even a crowd. It's just like I want to do the best job possible.
mhm,
Um, Overthinking DJing is not a good
mhm,
thing.
for sure.
What am I going to play? What am I going to do? Is it going to go well? All these things, when you let get in your mind, throw you off. So I was
Mhm,
quite nervous but bef- you know, behind the stage. Once I got on the stage, played a song, it's like boom, we're gonna have some
mhm,
fun. And that's a little advice to any DJ really is starting off is just remember DJing is fun.
mhm.
If you're having fun, it basically other people will catch that vibe and it'll go smooth, much smoother than not having fun, right?
For sure, and I love that because, I mean, talking to you, you've been DJing since 1982, you said, guys, like, he could do this with his eyes closed, you know?
No,
So
I don't agree with that actually.
no? Yeah?
No, every gig you have to be in the moment.
Mhm,
You have to kind of like think about what you're doing in terms of audience response, the vibe, uh, and every DJ while you're playing one song, you have to think of the next song.
mhm,
So I don't know. I don't know. Like I wouldn't say it's eyes closed, but you
mhm.
have to do it from your spirit.
Yeah, for
uh,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have to catch your vibe and kind of go with it.
And I like that because it just feels like, okay, well, if someone with this much experience feels that way, then, I'm sure other people listening that are newer, or just starting out, like it just feels like you could connect a lot more, than if you see someone on stage that has done all this experience and they're like, oh no, I'm good. I got this in the bag. So I appreciate you saying that because it definitely helps other people too, right?
Yeah, there's nothing
Because I
wrong with a bit of nerve, actually. I think because it
Mhm.
means you care. It means you're gonna you want to do your best job, and it's a performance. Performance takes some nerve, um, and you often have to get over those nerves, or sort of just get in the moment is the best way I could describe it.
So true. Pedro says DJ Pauly Lopez always comes correct regardless of the size of crowd. I agree. and let's see here. Yeah, and DJ Channel 9's agreeing as well. Hey, Miss G Live, good to see you. Thanks for coming through to the Honey Flow show too. Oh, Pedro says you're best when you go shirtless. Have you gone shirtless for a gig? I don't think.
No.
No?
No one
Okay.
wants to see that.
I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything here that I don't know about. Um, oh my gosh, DJ Channel 9 says Paulie makes the crowd levitate when he plays. Okay, if this is some Chris Angel stuff, I'm gonna have to, it gets a little freaky. D-Man does that with his plates. He levitates his vinyls up, and I'm just trying to figure out how the heck he does that on Twitch.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
and I'm just like, I hope you're not into Chris Angel stuff because that would kind of scare me.
A little freaky.
Junior's laughing. Oh, Pedro says you will go shirtless this
Shirtless
Saturday.
this Saturday.
Event?
Yeah.
What event do
So
you guys have this Saturday?
so it's nice to see that Channel 9 is here because he's one of the Scorpio DJs that will be
Hmm.
spinning at the Parkdale Drink along with Mike Tall, my DJ partner. And Ice Me So Please will be opening up the night, and we're going to have a good time down at the Parkdale Drink on Queen Street.
On Queen Street.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Do you have a residence spot that you guys do or upcoming events? Make sure you guys add him, of course. I put his link at the bottom here that's scrolling through. So make sure you guys add him and add, DJ Lopes on Instagram. He's on Mixcloud, SoundCloud, I believe, and Facebook. He's everywhere. So if you just Google his name, you'll find him. Yeah.
I find I
So
kind of stick to IG mostly
IG.
for info now. Yeah,
Okay.
I feel Facebook is not as kind of
I hear you.
fun anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I left Facebook after Twitch. I just post. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that because we're streaming live to Facebook. So welcome,
Hey,
Facebookers,
Facebook.
and YouTube. But I did leave it to go more to Instagram and Twitch as well. I just find it's definitely a supportive community on Twitch. Less politics, right? But
Twitch is
we love
amazing.
you, Facebook, too. So come over to Twitch. So then you also do Break for Love, which is, classic house, rare grooves as well. Can you kind of explain that event to people too, the Break for Love?
Yeah, props to Pedro. He's one half of Hot Stepper with his brother Carlos Mondazira. I've been DJing with these guys for many, many years. Bumpin' Hustle was Carlos's event, along with myself and Mike Tall, that ran for 20 years. And we did events. That's actually kind of the start of my relationship with Hot Stepper. Carlos wanted to do an event, and we kind of linked up and stuck it out all these years. And Pedro is the other half that does one of his bigger parties is Break for Love. So it started off. How long has Break for Love been going, Ped? Is it 15 years, 10, 15 years? Put it in the chat.
Yeah, and Bump and Hustle
And
as
Bump and
well.
Hustle, yeah. Bump and Hustle ran for 20 years.
Wow.
So I've been DJing with these guys. They're friends, they're family.
Hmm.
We have roti together.
Hmm.
We have pasta together. We
That's
drink beer
awesome.
together.
I love that. Yeah, you guys all seem down to earth guys. I've talked to Carlos a few times. Like, I didn't know they're actually brothers. I didn't know you guys were. It makes sense,
Yeah.
now. I didn't realize, but I do recognize him, seeing him
Pedro's
as
the
well.
baby brother.
Oh, really? Aw. But Carlos was always nice because I was one of those not creepy lurkers, but one of those people behind the DJ booth being like, "Hi," like, can I see what you guys are doing? And they can't look at me. I
Yeah.
remember the first time I moved in this city, went right up on stage, starting from scratch. Hi, I'm from
Wow.
Winnipeg. I go by DJ Honeyflow. Can I? And he's just looking at me kind of weird, like, okay, hi,
He's a great
why
guy
isn't this
too.
girl leaving? But I couldn't, I was just excited, right? Small city,
Big
coming
up
from a
started
small
from
city.
scratch. He just turned 50 this week.
Yeah, big up to him too, and just all you guys for paving the way and doing so many incredible things like in the city. And I really do. What do you think? Like the DJs are here in Toronto. I don't want to say compared to the rest of the world, but do you feel like it's pretty unique? Like, what do you think? it's like here compared to what you see
Oh
globally. Because I
man,
really do feel like we have a lot of special people here. I really
we
do.
we really don't need to bring any guest DJs in from anywhere into Toronto
Hmm.
because we usually outshine what they do.
Hmm.
There's so much talent in Toronto in terms of DJing. I know the love for music in the city is just phenomenal. I think part of the reason for that, now that I think of I'm the handsome one, right? Okay, buddy. With those
They're
sunglasses
both
on,
handsome. I think they're both handsome.
I,
So
I wouldn't know which one to pick.
yeah, I wouldn't either. I've seen them both, so they're both handsome guys.
And there's a third brother that
What?
would
There's
work.
a third?
He did
Oh,
the door for us at Bum Hustle, so you've probably met him.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Honey Flow doesn't give compliments easily, so count
Mhm.
yourself lucky. You guys are all handsome guys.
All right.
Anyways, go ahead. Yeah. So you're
Um,
saying about Toronto DJs?
Toronto has phenomenal DJs in all genres, and I
Hmm.
think that is a testament to a strong radio culture that we had with three college stations in Toronto. Now we actually have just one. Um, I did college radio for many years, and it was kind of like our sort of our hub for connecting with people, finding out about parties, hearing the latest records, and doing your research and having a good time. We were also lucky to have WBLK out of Buffalo to listen to
Hmm.
back in the day. Yeah, we even have an immigrant named Scratch Bastard that came from Halifax
Oh, I didn't
to
know he
become a.
was from Halifax.
He's from
Oh,
Halifax, half
okay.
Trinidadian too.
Really? Oh,
Yes,
I would
the
have no
Trini,
idea.
half Trini,
I
half.
used to go to play the record, not only to listen to see the controllers, but to listen to Eugene's accent because he's got the
Oh,
best accent,
Sola, no
hands
more.
down. Yeah,
Come back
you
Tuesday.
sound just like him. Oh my
what,
gosh, yeah.
what, what record you looking for? Hmm?
Yeah, like, I loved it. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's got the best Trini accent
Yeah, he's
ever."
got it. Even his accent is unique within Trinidad because of his Chinese heritage.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and he was always nice too. Wow.
Oh, this
So
best guy. Go see the documentary when you get a chance.
yes, and we're
Drop the
gonna get
needle.
into that. We're gonna get into that documentary. So were
Sure.
you on CHRY then?
I
Or
spent
was
some
it the
time.
88?
I was on all three stations
Oh,
at different
wow.
times, and sometimes it overlapped. I did CHRY at York University
Mhm,
through Mitch Winthrop, which was a
mhm,
phenomenal DJ. I had my own show on CIUT called Vibes and Stuff for quite a few years. I know some of these guys used to listen. And before that, I did all night shows with guys like Peter and Tyrone, and who else was there? Joe and Trini. Dr. J was part of the all night show on
Oh,
Friday
wow.
nights on
Nice.
CKLN.
Yeah.
Also sat in with Dave Ahmad a little bit on Dave's Dance Music on Sundays.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would take the last train to Ryerson to be on CKLN 88.1 and stay the night. Play the last spot of the night, which was I believe 4 to 6, and then catch the first train to go home.
Oh,
Fell asleep
nice.
on the train a few times. Ended up at the last station where some blue collar guy would be like, "Hey, buddy, last stop. Get up, man. What's wrong with you?" And
Oh,
have to
man.
go back down. I got off at Yorkdale Station to catch my bus.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
Yes.
So if you had a chance, what would you prefer more, like being on radio or being live as a DJ? I know it's kind of a hard thing to
I,
choose, but
I don't know if I could choose because they both have very special place in my heart.
mhm,
That time on CIUT with my show, um, I've come to learn more over the years, was quite a unique thing.
mhm.
What I think what myself and Mike Toll were presenting in terms of getting records on a Thursday night from Play the Record from Eugene,
Mhm.
and getting promotional records from Street Sounds magazine. In those days, labels would mail you records like through just regular mail. They
Yeah.
come in your mailbox. You get excited, check them out,
Mhm.
get to the station on. My show was on Thursday nights. I missed a lot of Cosby Show because it was a Thursday night at 8 to 10, so I never got to see Cosby Show. But
Hmm.
In hindsight, maybe that's a good thing.
Oh, well,
um,
maybe now with everything.
yeah, and we played, the latest promos, some stuff off tape that was only promoted through on tapes,
Hmm.
and just like presented on, be really excited about it all.
Hmm.
So it was a great time. It was a special time that really got to shine and kind of made a name for myself, because radio, you never know who's listening. Kind of like
Yeah,
Twitch,
you never do. It's
you
so
never know who's
true.
listening. And
Yeah.
even to this day, people are like, "Oh man, I listen to your show all the time. I have tapes of it still. I still go back and listen to the tapes." And you're like, "How did I like? How? Why didn't you tell me this at the time?" Because you're kind of like
Mm.
in a little bit of a bubble doing radio. You don't, in those days, unless the phone, the phone rang, the request line, you didn't know who was listening. And
So
I've come
true.
to become friends with a lot of DJs who are like, "Oh man, your show was important for me."
Hmm.
Yeah.
And even on Twitch, there's some celebrities on Twitch watching, like, you wouldn't know, like some big time musicians. I've heard
Yeah.
different stories on different talk shows too, where they're in rooms and they're watching, kind of like, how they watched D Nice, how you're all together kind of on Instagram. So you'll have
Hmm.
like Diddy or other people like watching like with you on Instagram. It's the same with Twitch, that
Yeah.
you're not just playing in your bedroom. And sometimes I forget that, because you're so comfortable with your audience.
Hmm.
But there is definitely, people watching, which is pretty amazing.
You just never
Um,
know.
do you think, have you had any opportunities from Twitch too, from people seeing you throughout the pandemic and saying, okay, hey, I mean, you already have your regular huge events out here in Toronto, but have you had any opportunities open up for you doing things online?
Well, I haven't actually streamed on my own channel for about a year.
Oh,
So,
wow. Wow.
yeah, I'm kind of, sometimes they call me the refugee Twitch DJ, because I
Hmm.
pop up with Pedro. We do most Fridays together. Jason Palma, I'm spinning with on Sunday. I don't actually set up to stream from my home on Twitch.
Hmm.
I really just do love the social interaction of, hanging out with somebody, another fellow DJ, and having a good time, getting some food, spinning some
Hmm.
tunes, and having a laugh. It's not quite my thing to sit at home alone and do it.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
the opportunities have been hooking up with, meeting and connecting with a lot of DJs that I respect, and talking about how we're going to, in the future, possibly, bring them here, or
Hmm.
we go there, not just myself. Talking, my crew of guys, which is, guys like Jason Palma, Channel 9, Scratch Bastard, starting from scratch. Like, we've all kind of, try to connect with people
Hmm.
to figure out what the next step is. And now that we're able to travel, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely bringing them, that would be amazing. Do you
Yeah.
think, going back to radio too, I've always been curious about this. Do you think, because I was in radio a little bit before too, do you think that it could potentially go obsolete with, because I know a lot of radio stations don't believe that. Like when I worked at like Flow for a little bit, they're just like, oh, Twitch, like whatever,
Yeah.
like they just thought it was like just nothing. Oh,
Right.
well, maybe better be careful what I say, but they were just like disregarded it completely. That's how I felt. But it's interesting because coming from radio, we would have never imagined someone clicking a link from another country and have hundreds of people listening around the world. That's how it was even 15, 20 years ago. Now it's even bigger. So the new TV has really become this on our
Yeah.
phones. And I feel like radio stations, if they don't keep up current and online and connecting with people, you know, I well, actually, before I say what I feel, what do you feel about that? Do you feel that radio stations could potentially go obsolete if they're not keeping current with the times with technology as well, being
um,
online?
Yeah, I did have that thought years
Hmm.
ago, because early 2000s, around 2001, I did an internet radio show, broadcast just on the internet, and this was a brand new way of doing things. And
Hmm.
there, what it comes down to maybe is a little bit of economics. If you're able to have a profit as a radio station, a local radio station, you have local advertising. and you have a local audience, and that's very important to people. Like for example, I have Jazz FM on all day in the living
Mm-hmm.
room, you know, and on my Google thing. And it just plays in the background. I hear the commercials come through, and I hear the radio DJs on there, and it suits the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a local, like again, it speaks to the audience. So I don't think radio is going away as long as they're able to have advertisement, because
Mm-hmm.
ultimately that making Jazz FM. I think Jazz FM is broadcast from Toronto, but is our national jazz station. So I think
Mm-hmm.
you catch Jazz FM throughout the country, and probably in the big cities. But yeah, I think as long as there's advertising and they adapt to the market, I think radio will be okay.
Hmm.
There were years where they were, even when times were tough, they came back and found ways to be relevant. A lot of sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, getting people back to appreciating what is on the radio. I don't see Twitch as being sort of competitive to radio, because it's quite niche. Our group here on Twitch. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we got a question here. Do you think
Yeah,
DJs would?
exactly. And you guys, if you have any questions, it's not just me asking questions. Feel free. Here's your time to learn more about him as well. If you want to ask questions, I mean, he's definitely a veteran in the game. Definitely fled the chat with your questions too. So, Boa Ninjas, he's actually originally from Toronto. He lives in the UK and he does a radio station out in the UK as well. So he's pretty familiar. He says, do you think DJs would opt to pay subs to be on commercial free internet radio?
Um, I think a lot of DJs would. Yeah, I think
Mhm,
DJs are always looking for opportunities to find their audience, and that's what in the last 2.5 years we've loved about Twitch. I know other DJs that have been doing commercial free internet radio. I have been involved in, is a commercial free radio station online. And some DJs have, doubled up. So while they're broadcasting on iLive or their internet show or other formats, they'll also turn the camera on and broadcast on
mhm.
Twitch or YouTube. So I think there's a place for that for sure.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, DJ Elegance, great to see you as well. And we're kind of already doing that on Twitch. Like, people will sub to your channel if they don't want to see commercials, right? So it's kind of
Yes.
already happening. We got dance vibes in the building, and thank you again for your contribution too, as well. We appreciate you. And let's see here. I'm
So
just trying
many
to see.
good people in the chat loving this.
Yeah, there's so many great people. Thanks for
And
coming through,
DJs,
guys.
salute to the DJs too.
Yeah, salute to all you guys as well.
Flames in the chat. Flames in the chat. Fire
Oh,
in the chat.
yeah, throw some fire in the chat if you guys like.
And some hearts.
Okay, so Dance Vibes says the difference I noticed between Twitch and radio is the latest artist releases. Hmm. What do you think about that comment there?
I'm not sure. Are we hearing the latest artist releases more on radio or on Twitch? I'm not sure.
Between Twitch and radio, the latest artist releases. Maybe there's more artist releases, obviously, on radio, but it's more commercial radio, unless if you're community radio, right? Because community radio, you're playing more local artists and you have to play more Canadian content. But commercial, I don't know, there might be a
I,
bit of a difference.
yeah, I feel like Twitch is, for me, feels like what college radio has been, where you have open formats and you could have niche music programming, niche interests. Radio, essentially, unless it's a college station, generally has to be commercialized. So they run the same Drake and Weekend and
Hmm.
Taylor Swift songs over and over again, because that's what draws the crowd in.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, this is a great question here. Thanks, Miss G. Live. I like this question. Was there any event or situation you had to overcome in the moment and DJ anyway? Hmm.
oh man, a lot of a lot of I haven't been into doing a lot of weddings because of that situation. I have this theory called the drunk uncle theory,
Okay.
where the groom and the bride have, you meet up with them, they tell you their interests in music, and they
Yep.
hired you because they like what you do.
Hmm.
But there's everyone else, and for some reason, I always have the drunk uncle that will tell you what to do, not ask.
Oh,
You will play this now because this is what we want to hear.
yeah,
The
yeah,
drunk
yeah.
uncle theory. So yeah, I haven't walked away from any gig, but there have been sort of tense moments. But that's part of the game. That's part of the gig. You go, you get through it. You actually learn a lot about, uh, I guess, customer service and customer relations
Hmm.
as a DJ. If you have a good personality and you know how to sort of talk to people and kind of put them at ease, it
Hmm.
helps a lot in those situations because you're
Yeah.
hired. You're often a hired. You're just a hired entertainment provider. You have to kind of figure out how you're going to get through all the situations that you find yourself in.
And I always say, guys, if you're not a DJ, always be nice. If you're gonna come up, do not be demanding and be like, "I want Taylor Swift, I want Britney Spears," or whatever you're
Yeah,
asking for. Like, don't be demanding. We cannot plug in phones and USBs and
yeah.
everything else into our equipment. We don't know if the phone's gonna ring. We don't know what's gonna happen on the mic. Like, we have to test out this music. DJing involves a lot
When
more.
they, what I the thing is now, it's like those, the phone play Bad Bunny,
Oh, it's
which
so
I don't like.
annoying.
I don't really want to be part of that. Like that's not what I DJ for it to be, sort of a jukebox, because there's it's often equated to a chef. You don't go to a restaurant, let's say an Italian restaurant, and
Hmm.
demand pad thai. It's not a thing. You have to leave it to the DJ to have his or her presentation of music, and and enjoy it. They're expressing themselves and they're presenting it the best way they know how.
Exactly.
If they're doing a reggae set, a '90s dancehall set, you don't go in there and ask for metal all of a sudden.
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody's asking for
Exactly.
metal, but just to show you how people kind of throw you off and hit you with polar opposites of what's going on.
Oh, for sure. I did a
Yeah,
corporate event on a boat cruise last year, and I felt like it was brutal for me because they wanted Tamil, they wanted Afghani music, they wanted Indian, and like I have little bits and pieces, but the
okay.
majority of the crowd wasn't that. So this woman was just crazy on me, and she's like, "I'm demanding Persian music like now. Like you're not making anyone dance." And I'm like, "This is a corporate event. Like people are not, they're eating cheese and crackers. Like
Yeah.
they're not interested in like partying it up." And but she was very, very demanding, and she just, to a DJ, it's like this, like slow motion where they're like, "Ah," like their
Oh, okay.
face. And I'm
And
just like, you only get, it happens once in a while, not often, but that can really throw you, damper your mood,
it
like
really
really throw
does.
you off. So how do you bounce back from that when you get someone a little crazy like that on you?
A
Like, do
little
you just
crazy.
ignore it, or
Um,
or you're selective with your events because you guys are in charge of your own events?
yeah, over time, I've kind of committed to only or try to do events that I know I'm comfortable
Mhm.
with, and I know the audience, and there's a mutual respect,
Mhm.
basically. I've stayed away from more corporate and for hire sort of gigs. Um,
Okay, I see.
yeah, adult entertainment
What?
venues.
He knows.
I have
He's
not.
trying to get you in trouble.
And this guy,
I think he's trouble.
with
He's
friends
trying
like
to,
this, right?
yeah, he's trying to definitely get you in trouble.
Dead man.
So speaking of that question, you've never done that. Now
Played a
I'm gonna
strip
be
joint?
asking.
Let's just say
Yeah,
it. Strip joint? No,
yeah,
I've
have
not
you?
played this.
Okay, well, that's good.
No. I know of guys actually more currently that I didn't even know this was a thing, but there's quite a few swing clubs in Toronto, and they pay quite
I
well
heard that
for
too. Yeah,
DJs to
that's
come
definitely not my thing
in.
whatsoever. I'm
It's a
just
gig. It's a gig, just like any other, I guess. It's just a little different.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I think your friends are trouble here. They're definitely, he's trouble. I have that feeling.
But how do you?
He's
Can you make me administrator? I'm gonna ban somebody here. Pedro.
Yeah, exactly, right? DJ Elegance says he just kind of ignores him. That's actually great advice, Elegance. I'm gonna have to try that. Doesn't happen
Actually,
often.
my technique in dealing, it's more the younger crowd, is
Mhm.
to kind of agree with them.
Oh, yeah?
So they're like, "Oh, can you play blah blah blah?" "Oh yeah, 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 yeah." "Okay." In a little while, a little while. Usually they're kind of like they've had too many drinks to really remember what they asked for, or
Mhm.
as long it rolls along, have a good time, or you go the other way and have conflict and tell them, "No, I'm not playing that, and it's not going to be played."
Yeah,
But that leads to more. What do you mean? Blah blah blah. Leads to more arguments. So sometimes just nodding and agreeing is
yeah.
an easy way to kind of like just ease the tension with that person,
Yeah,
and hopefully they forget.
the other night I did a Canadian Brew House. I was just like, this guy just kept bugging me, right? Well, play this. How come you're slowing it down? I'm like, because it's 5 minutes till close. Like, I'm not gonna play a hype track. And he's like, come on, just play. Okay, play Michael Jackson Thriller. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's kind of
fine. I'll
cool.
just play it. So I could tell he could tell that maybe I was a little irritated a little bit.
Yeah,
So then he came back and he's like, "Oh, I just want to thank you for putting on my request.
awesome.
Here's $20." I was so shocked. Like it was actually very nice that someone recognized what
Yeah,
you're trying to do and he gave me a $20 tip. I was like, are you sure you want me taking it? I'm like, yes, I'll
that's how I
take
always feel
it.
weird in that
I
situation because
felt weird. I didn't know
kind
what
of
to
feel
do. I
you
was
feel like you're
kind of
being
like,
bought a little bit.
yeah, I was like, "No, no, no, it's okay,"
Yeah,
but then I don't have often where people just say, "Oh, here, we appreciate you. Here's a tip." So I thought that was really sweet. That was
yeah,
nice.
that's
Uh,
become more common actually.
yeah?
Interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, and DJ Spartacus, we don't know if he runs the swinger clubs or what he does. We're not quite sure
With those
out there.
sunglasses, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He's I don't have my sunglasses here. I always bug him. He's definitely suspicious. Like
Big up
no
Spartacus.
one's seen his eyeballs since like 2001. So something's going on
Wow, wow.
with him. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, audio ambassadors seeing some Marilyn Manson requests on Twitch. I
Marilyn
know you
Manson,
get the
eh?
weirdest requests from people. Like you could be doing a hip hop set or R&B, and they're like, "Can you just play this?" And it's just the oddest. Like you're like, "What are you thinking?" Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Do you ever get some of those weird requests from people?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, one of the this is an interesting story, and I don't remember what it was exactly, but
Mhm.
Amy Winehouse came to
Oh.
Bumpin' Hustle.
Oh,
While we're doing,
really?
I like Pedro, maybe clarify what she asked for, but she came. She had somebody come over and ask for, I believe it was Metallica or Black Sabbath or something,
Mhm.
while we're playing like a funk or a house set or something in the party. And it was directed towards Mike, and Mike's like, "No, I'm not. We're not playing that." And Mike to this day still feels part of him kind of regrets not, accommodating Amy's request.
Yeah,
Yeah,
80s requests, yeah. Oh,
Amy's,
man.
yeah, Amy Winehouse.
I think you guys did an event on Queen Street. I can't remember the name of the place. It wasn't where Hot Steppers was, it was, like, further down on Queen Street, and it was a
Waverly.
Oh, maybe that's what it was, yes, and it was, I think, around Caravana time, and I remember going up to this guy, like, because I chatted up with everyone, and I know people think it's weird, but I just am like that when I go out, so I was just chatting it up with people, saying hi to them, and I went to this guy, I was like, "Oh, hey, where are you from?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm from New York," or he gives me a weird look, he's like, "New York," or whatever he said, I'm like, "Okay," and then one of you guys announced that it was, Dave Chappelle, so to this day, my friends are laughing, saying he's probably got a story about you because you had no hot clue who he was. And then you guys announced that one of you guys announced that he was there that
Yeah.
night and it was him. And I had no idea. I'm like, that's
So
why he
you
looks familiar to
so
me.
you were at the very last Bump and Hustle party.
I don't know.
Yeah, you
Yeah, it
were.
was a while ago.
That
Yeah.
was the very last Bump and Hustle party. Dave Chappelle, and I don't know the comedian's name, but he's Ashy Larry on the show, on the Dave Chappelle show. They came
And I
to the
kept
very
talking to
last.
him the whole time. Like, and he's kind of giving
Wow.
me a weird look like
I'll tell you,
you
I
don't
didn't recognize him. I didn't recognize Dave Chappelle at
know.
first because he had been kind of missing in action for years. He's kind of like hiding out and
Yeah.
away from the entertainment industry. And he walked in there and he's like, he was buff, he was big.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
like cock diesel. He had been working out. I didn't
Yeah.
recognize him. I actually recognized the Ashley Larry
Like
guy.
Diesel, like Spartacus working out or what?
He was
Like
big,
Diesel like
man.
that?
He was
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy crap, Dave Chappelle's here. And that was the very last Bumping Us. So that was our 20th anniversary. That was All-Star weekend for the NBA here in Toronto. And it
Wow.
was cold, cold, cold. It was like minus 40 or something that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't it felt so long ago, I don't even remember. Yeah.
I think it was
And going
sorry, 16, I believe.
going back to like Canadian DJs versus, I guess, all the other DJs, I'm just curious also a little bit more your perspective on that because they say I talk to a lot of DJs out here and they always say that Canadian ones do things a little bit differently, like in terms of how they mix or how they blend. Do you think that's correct compared to say other DJs? Like they really
Yeah.
try to perfect, I guess, I don't know what it is, the mixing, and then when you listen to, say, a lot of American DJs, they may cut it quickly.
Yeah,
Um,
there's
it's a little
more of a
bit
technical.
different.
Yeah, I think more for like for hip hop DJs in the U.S., which is the main music. Cutting is the thing. They just like
Mhm,
go straight to the track because generally everybody knows that the tracks they're playing, they're hits.
mhm,
We tend to go a little deeper. We're definitely into transitions, tight transitions that are ultra smooth. Sex
mhm.
Pistols. That's what Amy Winehouse requested. Sex Pistols
Oh,
from
really?
yeah, the Sex Pistols. Yeah.
Oh,
Can you believe
wow.
it? Like, oh
Y
man.
yeah, yeah, I don't know.
But it's Amy Winehouse. I mean, maybe we should have played it. Anyways,
Yeah, I would've
um,
played it if it was her, I would've just played it.
yeah. But it would have just mashed up the party,
But
messed
what
up
you coulda done is you
the
coulda just said, "Oh, hey, we got Amy Winehouse, like, this is what she" like, blame it on her in case they don't
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it.
Put it back. But
That's
yeah,
what I
yeah.
normally do. If
Right.
someone gets a weird request, I'll be like, "Oh,
House
hey, this
remix.
person request big shout out to them." And then they feel all important, and then it doesn't make you look crazy for dropping this track, right?
Essie, we want you to Google Sex Pistols house remix, okay, and send it over to us, okay? We need you to find that. Yeah, Toronto DJs like are ultra smooth in terms of transitions, and
Mhm,
because we're a multicultural place, we play a lot of styles, and we're influenced by a lot of stuff. So most DJs know how to put all these styles together. Like,
mhm,
you could hit up almost any, let's say, soca DJ or reggae DJ in Toronto, and they still know how to play R&B and a bit of classic house and some old school. And we have the diversity and sort of like the we have the wits to put it together. And I think that's
mhm.
our strength. And yeah, again, it speaks to our how multicultural our city is, and our love for many styles that gets incorporated. So I think that's our strength.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're very versatile culturally. I feel
Hmm.
like if I were to close my eyes on Twitch and relate the DJs, I would say UK DJs and New York DJs. Like if I were to close my eyes and not listen, just only listen to their music, I would say we're very similar just because
Hmm.
culturally they play Afrobeat, Spanish, like they play a
Yeah,
mix, lovers rock, and even in the UK, like DJ Mr. Drew right here, UK, and a few other people from the UK, they definitely play
we're
like a mix.
flexible.
Yeah, different things, but if you listen to other states, I don't feel like they really play that as much, different states. Like
um,
say, Chicago, it's definitely known for their house,
it's
their
it's all
steppers music.
it's all cultural, and I think Toronto, traditionally over the years, has been kind of sort of a connection between the sort of UK. Like in London, there's a huge crowd and a huge scene of digging deep into music to the point that they've created drum and bass, which is an
Mhm,
amalgamation of many styles, many styles. And a lot of people here in Toronto have family in New York City. So I know, for example, Dave Campbell was in New York for, at block parties where Grandmaster Flash DJ'd in the
mhm.
70s,
Wow.
not even understanding what really was going on, but came home with that influence and looked for the same records that these guys were playing. So I think that to me, it's always been like the sort of musicality of a place like England that is deep into black music and dance music and club
Mhm.
music and soul music and Caribbean music. And likewise, in the same goes for New York, where a lot of people have connections in. A lot of people have spent a lot of time in New York, especially during the summers visiting family. So I think those two sort of influences are a big part of where we come from. And again, like to me, from my back interest, the Caribbean music, no one could touch us on that.
Mhm.
No one could touch us on Caribbean music.
Have you ever had anyone underestimate you,
Every
like,
time.
because 'cause they're just like, "Oh, what is this? What is this Portuguese?" Or, they
Yeah,
look at you, "White
yeah,
guy,
no,
what does he know about, like, reggae or some of this music?"
constantly, constantly.
Hmm.
And it's actually like a bit of a selling thing. It's like, yeah, watch, I could do this. Like
Mhm.
I got no fear about stepping into the arena and flexing my knowledge of that music. So it becomes like a sort of like a little game. Like, okay, whatever you think of me, it doesn't really matter. Like I see White Gold on Twitch
Mhm.
doing the same thing. Somebody I didn't know before Twitch, out of Kitchener. Starting from scratch has always done the same thing. It's like, you actually get a little fuel for the fire when you are underestimated. It gives you a little,
Exactly.
puts a little pep
Yeah.
in your step to show what you can do. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And music is so universal. Like all those guys you mentioned are incredible and killing it on Twitch. Do you think as Canadians, like we need to have like a little bit more confidence? Because I noticed that, before Drake and before Bieber and before, I don't know, there's so many great artists, Cardinal, Julie, uh, uh, Mishi, like the list goes on, Maestro. Like we have a lot of talent, not only in Toronto, but across Canada, but I feel like sometimes, we have felt, at least at least I felt that too at some point in my life, that you had to go to the States or you have to go abroad to make things happen. Like,
Yeah.
do you
Like,
think that we need to have more confidence in who we are? Even the Junos this year, when I went to the Junos, I was shocked the amount of talent and even younger talent that we do have. But
mhm.
I don't know if it's funding or confidence. I'm not sure what it is, like why we always feel that we have to go across the border to make something happen when we have a lot here. Like,
Yeah. I mean, we're kind of like the little cousin to the States because mostly because of population size.
mhm,
They have 10 times more people than us. All the media is pretty much central in America. We haven't had the same sort of opportunities of marketing ourselves, but we've come a long way. Believe me, we have come a long way. And I'm not, you have to mention a guy like Drake because he's brought so much attention to our city that people are looking to us. And I think we kind of run things on Twitch. Like if you
mhm,
look at the best DJs and who's out there supporting and making connections, I see Toronto like on top of that, especially on Twitch. Like we've really come to present what what we have to the world through this medium.
mhm,
And you got guys like, starting from scratch, tours the world
mhm,
with Russell Peters. Um, you know, you got, Scratch Bastard all doing his block parties all over the world, his
mhm,
barbecues. Baby U has
mhm.
penetrated
He's
in
incredible.
oh man, he made it big and so underestimated in Atlanta, and then I think he
So
might be,
underestimated,
I believe
I
he's in the
think.
West Coast now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've presented our scene, our skills, our confidence, and our musicality, and our DJ's best to the world. And I think we still have a bit of a ways to go, but the confidence is there, and
Mhm.
a lot of the world is looking into us now instead of us having to go to them to show what we got.
Interesting. Yeah, we definitely have come a long way, which is great. And, and I thank you also for being on my show too, taking
You're
that
welcome.
chance too, because I know you definitely have so much experience. And that's kind of a goal of mine, is to showcase more people in Canada, especially in Toronto, but it also takes other people willing to give you a chance to come on your show too. So I
Yeah.
want to thank you for even just opening up that door. Daniel came on and a few others, and I hope to showcase more, especially Canadian talent, because I feel
Hmm.
like it needs to be shown a lot more, the talent that we have here. which is
Big up to
awesome.
M. Lewis that lives within walking distance of me.
Oh, M. Lewis. Yeah, make sure you guys
Yes,
add
follow him.
M.
Follow
Lewis.
all these great guys.
So
Follow all
many
these great
great guys.
DJs.
Actually, we'll do something quickly here. If you guys are a streamer, put a one in the chat, regardless of what you do, a talk show, gamer, crafter. We have so many. So, DJ, if you're a streamer in general, put a one in the chat. If you're a mod, put a two, and you guys could add one another. M. Lewis does great shows too. DJ Elegance, Boa Ninjas. There's so many. Spartacus too does an awesome show. He's killing it. Hope he makes partner soon because
I
he's
want his
well deserving
glasses.
of it. I want to take, yeah, one day we're gonna see,
Those are
you
dope
know,
glasses.
yeah. But if
Does
you
he?
guys,
Do you stream with your glasses, Spartacus? Is that your
yes,
thing?
some people have said they haven't seen his eyes for like
Dope.
15 years. Like, but I did because I'm good at my Google searches, so I was able to find a few
Nice,
pictures.
nice.
Now he's gonna run and remove them. So, I also noticed on your IG, which I thought was really cool. Maybe explain it. I wasn't able to pull up the video, but you had this flexi disc. I don't know how old that is. It just looked like a thin film or something. It was really
Yeah,
interesting to me. And you played that. Like, how many
yeah.
years ago? Where is that from? I guess. And for people that aren't familiar with it, maybe if you could mention that too, I thought was interesting.
So flexi discs, I don't know when they started, but back when you would some music magazines and other formats would have flexidiscs, which were on a thin piece of plastic, and they were actual records, and you'd have to put coins on it so it wouldn't slide
Hmm.
as a needle, was on it. So you'd find them in magazines. They were often in like kids magazines, music magazines. There's a famous Jackson 5 Flexidix that came in a cereal box that's extremely collectible.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys there were often a lot of kids books. So you'd have the book, and when you bought it, the record that Flexidisc was in it, you'd put it on the turntable and you'd listen to it as you flip through the book, and it would narrate the book for you.
Wow, that
So
is
yeah, so
cool.
it was using a lot of kids books and toys and sort of thing. But the
Mhm.
one that you saw was put out by the legendary John Morales that did a lot of remixes and production, especially in the '80s, and he's
Mhm.
still DJing. Part of Eminem. If you see some remix by Eminem, he's one half of Eminem. John Morales. He did a remix project for the Tina Marie catalog on Motown.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and
I've
one of the
never
tracks I found out about, I think it's Behind the Groove. He put out on a Flexidisc. It's his remix of Tina Marie that came out maybe 3, 4 years ago, and I found out that it was a bonus, a limited bonus on a CD packaging.
wow.
I went on
That's awesome.
Discogs where you could buy music and found a copy and ordered it, and I love
That
it.
is so cool.
Yeah, the
Is
sound
it
quality is not great on those.
Mhm.
They're mostly just throwaway. Another cool one I have was put out by Music Magazine. Actually, two others.
Mhm.
Um, one I have, one I don't. I
Mhm.
have Blondie with Fab Five Freddy doing Rapture in a
Mhm.
Christmas style. So it's a Christmas version that only came out on a flexi disc at a music magazine in the UK. So I was
Oh,
able to get a
wow.
hold of that on eBay. And another famous one I wish I had was it was put out by the Beastie Boys in the Beastie Boys magazine. Um, in the late '90s, they had a magazine. I don't remember what it's called right now. Jeez, but they included a flexi disc that was Bismarck doing a cover version of Benny and the Jets by
Oh,
Elton John.
wow. That's
Yeah,
really cool. That's
yeah.
interesting. Oh,
So
man.
collectors out there, look out for those. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's really cool. Is
Grand
there a
Royal is the name of the
Mhm.
magazine. I just remembered. Their label was
Oh,
called Grand Royal, and their magazine is called Ground Royal, and they would do features on different artists. And the one that I treasure was their tribute to Lee Scratch Perry, the infamous reggae producer.
oh, nice.
Yeah,
Have you ever done an event, like, in the Caribbean or in Jamaica? That would be so amazing. I would love to
I've
see you do an event there.
I've never been to Jamaica.
What? You've
I've
never
never.
been there? Oh, you need to go. You
I
need to
do need
go.
to go and plan to hopefully this year. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Is Jamie QT still in the chat? We have to talk to her travel agent.
yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, awesome. So is there anyone and I want to thank you, M. Lewis. I think a couple minutes ago you gave me bits. So thank you so much, M. Lewis, for those bits. Truly appreciate you and some of the follows here too earlier on. Appreciate you guys too. Feel free to follow and make sure you follow DJ Paulie Lopez. His link is scrolling through on my chat so you guys could check it out. So add him on Instagram. He's got a lot of cool different music that he plays on his Instagram, his events. You guys can keep up to date on, and just his Twitch shows too. So lots of cool things on his Instagram. So make sure you guys add him too. Let's see here. So is there like anyone that you would want to work with that even if they've passed away, is there anyone like a Prince or Michael Jackson? Like if you had no holds bar, would there be anyone who would you want to like collaborate with or work with?
In terms of production, or in terms of
Well, you could
like,
say production or DJing or just being on stage with, like opening up for pretty much
actually,
anything. If
one of my
there was
one of my biggest regrets in DJing was I missed an opportunity to DJ for the after party for Prince.
what?
Yeah,
Really?
the promoter had called saying, "Oh, call me back." I'm like, "It's call me back. I want to talk to you." It's like, "Oh, okay, I'll call him back later tonight." And by the time I spoke to him, he's like, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay. I already got Dave Campbell to do the gig," and I was
Oh
so happy it was
man.
Dave Campbell because
Yeah.
he goes, "Oh yeah, yeah." Like he just said it casually. He's like, "Oh yeah, Prince wants to do like a little after party," and he did it in one of the restaurants owned by Charles Caboose.
Hmm.
So Dave Campbell got the gig, and I think Pedro was actually at that gig.
Did your heart
So
sink a little bit? Like, oh
a
shoot,
little bit,
man.
but I was so like, if anybody, I would love to have, done it instead of me is Dave Campbell because
Yeah.
he's been doing this a long time and he's amazing and
Hmm.
totally perfect for doing a Prince after party. So happy he did it.
Hmm.
I don't even know if my nerves would be okay to do that gig. I would have been so nervous before that, like, oh man. So that was, I think that was just before his passing. It was I think it was his
Wow.
last concert in Toronto. Yeah.
Did you go to the show?
I didn't. No, I didn't have tickets.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I
Prince,
have seen Prince before, but not that
yeah,
time.
Prince is like I don't get mesmerized too much by people, but like Prince was memorized, like just like whoa, where you're starstruck. Like you just can't believe what a performer he was,
Crazy.
right?
Yeah, that
So
last show it was a more acoustic type show. It was kind of bare bones, and it was very personable.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, Prince was amazing. That would have been such an amazing show to open up for. But yeah,
yeah. So
okay. So Prince, yeah.
this was after party, and then he came in really late into the. It's basically a bar,
Hmm.
restaurant actually, and he came in really late. And word has it that he kind of just his band members were performing, and Prince just kind of sat there and directed the whole thing. Like, okay, boom, saxophone, boom, piano. Just play. He was the man. He was just chill, just
Yeah.
doing what he's kind of like just a musical director that night supposedly.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, he definitely lived for music, definitely lived his passion. We did like kind of a tribute for Pam the Funktress, if you remember
nice.
who she was. She was Prince's DJ.
I think
And
she was there that night. I think she also
oh,
performed.
really?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man, I saw her 20 years ago. She's one that I was really like, this girl is incredible. Like her body tricks and everything
yeah.
on the turntables I've never seen, especially a female. Like to me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm girl fanning here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so it was pretty cool. Oh, that's so awesome. So we're gonna get into you guys a trailer from Play the Record, and I know DJ Paulie Lopez has a huge part. Of course, Drop the Needle is a film. I'm gonna actually be seeing it this Sunday, so I'm really excited. It was sold out the first one. Did you go to the first opening?
I
The
was
opening?
there. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That
you
was
were
2 weeks
there.
ago. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And I mean, he's anyone that understands and anyone that is not from Toronto or in Canada, just to let you know, Play the Record was an amazing music store still here. And, Eugene, the owner, just did such a large part in music, for any DJs or anyone that loved music would go to the store. I remember flying in from Winnipeg before I even moved here and just checking out like this amazing store. So I'm gonna play, drop the needle, and then we're gonna kind of talk about it after too. So let's get into this. I hope you guys enjoy it. You can find it online. I don't know if it's for sale or if they're renting it now online for
Not
people.
yet. No, it's playing It's actually playing on Sunday at the theater, and then they have a couple more theater dates, and we'll see from there. But I'm sure it'll be available to stream shortly.
Yeah, because people are asking me. I've been
Oh
playing it
man,
almost every show of mine since I told them that I would play it. I've been playing it like all the time, and people are now asking, and from the UK and the States, and they're like, "Yeah, we want to see it." So
so good,
hopefully
so
they
good.
get it online. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So enjoy it. I'm gonna try to see if I can do this and play it for you guys.
And people would always tell me, "Oh, the store is an institution." Da da da. I was like, "Okay, all right, okay, cool, no problem." It's only when we started doing this documentary, maybe we did have something to do with it.
Tuning into a city's not just club culture, but music culture. Record stores have long been at the heart of that.
You like all these big dog DJs are there and you're like, whoa, wow, okay, this is what they do.
The front of the store is selling everything from like pornographic movies and, fake handguns and daggers.
And Gene was there, his wife worked there, his parents were there. It was such a family-run operation.
Everybody was going to him. He was the go-to guy.
The mixtape DJs, the radio DJs, the club DJs, the strip club DJs.
If you weren't at Play the Record on Thursday, you feared that you missed something because the vibe and the intensity was crazy.
It was definitely above and beyond a record store.
It's one of those questions. It's like, where would we be without Play the Record? It was that important to my career.
To be honest, never mind like the record deal part. We're like, yo, we get to go to Play the Record?
It's all an ecosystem. And Play the Record is the hub of it, which is crazy.
21 years of my lifetime. Yeah. 21 years of my lifetime.
Shock lives in the house. 21 years. It'll be.
That environment helps stimulate the art that comes from the city.
21 years of pure bullshit. It makes me want to bang my heads off the walls and do some like orchestrate swarms in the malls.
Man, just for music, man.
That looks so amazing. I can't wait to see it this Sunday. I'm really excited.
It's so good. It's so good. Lots of fun.
If anyone's in this room have seen it,
DJ Solid saw it.
Yeah, drop in. Hey, DJ Solid. I see Twitches at radio. We got Esso. Love your picture, girl. That's a really nice picture. All your pictures are really nice. Just always looking at who's watching our show. So what would you say is part of your role, I guess, in the film or even with the store, Play the Record?
Well, contrary to popular belief, I never worked at a record store. I didn't work at Play the Record or any other record store. I spent a lot of time there. I would help customers and be involved, but didn't actually work in record stores. In this documentary, I get mentioned by a couple of different people for different instances. My mixtape is shown, actual tape cassette is shown on the screen. Yeah. And they actually, this is kind of fun. They actually did an animation of me. So although it was during COVID lockdown. It was a full lockdown where they did the interviews. So it was a little hard to connect with the producer of the movie. So I wasn't actually interviewed, but because I was mentioned in a couple of stories, they did an animation of me. I'm one of the customers waiting for the records to come out on a Thursday night when the shipments came in. Waiting all. If you go to my Instagram page, you actually could see myself there with a few other DJs, including Denise Benson. They put Roger Sanchez there for some reason. Roger S. So he must have been interviewed and told the story of shopping in the store, although he's not in the documentary.
Did you ever
He's
see fights in the store? Because I know they mentioned that there could be fights over records and stuff in the store. I'm
It
curious.
would get freaking tense, man. Tense as F AF because
Really?
oh yeah. Especially like when it to me, like I'll tell you something. I actually didn't play house music 100%.
Mhm.
Part of the reason was the intensity of these guys fighting over these records turned me off because they'd come out with,
Wow.
one of the clerks, Jason Palmer, one of the guys would come out with records,
Mhm.
stack of records, and like there's some heat in there, right? And all these hands would go out and pushing and shoving. Like, hey man, back off, man! Yo, come on, yeah. And all this
Mhm.
stuff. And I was like, I didn't want to deal with that stuff. So I was like, you know what? You guys fight over the records. I'll go for these other records. Some like acid jazz or some funk records or whatever, and I'll be good with that. And I was
Mhm.
able to distinguish myself from other people based on that. And yeah, the intensity was crazy.
Yeah, that sounds really crazy. The only thing I remember is dropping off my cards, and I felt like people would just throw them away, like, chuck them, because 'cause I'm
What?
just like, "I just gave a stack." Like, I would always go to the front desk, I'm like, "Wait, I just dropped off all my cards, and then they're all gone." I'm like, "Hmm, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know about
think
that."
I think there's bit of maybe a hierarchy to who got to, I mean, they only had X amount of
Stick their
space
cards
for.
there,
Are you
exactly.
you mean like flyers, like for
No,
parties
just
or?
I just had, like, my radio or my, like, little DJ card, so I
Okay,
always ask them, "Hey, can I just stick them here?" But
yeah,
sometimes I think DJs would, like, remove different flyers and different things to
yeah,
put their event there. I'm just like, "Come on." Yeah.
real
It
estate.
can definitely be, competitive for sure. Do you
Yeah.
think there's different crews, I guess, out here? Like, do you feel like there's so many DJs and so many people in radio out here that could be very competitive in media or kinda gaining a spot here?
Um, I feel there's a good relation between the DJs in Toronto. I don't really see a lot of competitiveness or hatred or anything, but
Mhm.
times have changed because I think the scene was a lot more intense in the
Hmm,
'90s,
okay.
where like there would be competition for gigs and a lot of like gossip about who did what and this and that
Mhm.
and that. But I think that's kind of mellowed out. Times have changed.
Yeah.
Maybe because we're more mature.
Getting older now.
I think that the scene is older, and the DJs themselves have been in the game long enough that they've become friends and we're hashed out their differences, whatever. But
Mhm,
I think there was not that there was a lot, but there was some uh, probably healthy competition, let's say,
mhm,
where yeah, and you know what? Even the clubs, I remember, if there was two or three events happening in a night. It could be the Phoenix nightclub. It could be, three or four things happening, a warehouse party, where
mhm.
I think, it was never proven, but all of a sudden the fire alarm would go off.
Oh, wow,
Or, I,
really?
I remember being at Phoenix one night where somebody pepper sprayed the place. And
Wow.
I don't think it was just by chance. I think, there was such a competition for the crowds that, they would sabotage other parties or call the fire department, say, oh, I think there's a fire at the Phoenix right now. And the fire department show up, they'd have to clear everybody out and the night would be kind of, the
Oh,
vibe would
wow,
be
that
done.
is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that happened.
Audio Ambassadors. Are they from Toronto, I think? Audio Ambassadors, right?
Audio Ambassador is from B Town.
Okay.
I
Oh, Brampton?
think so. Yeah.
B-Town says Sabotage. Yeah, we got
Sabotage like the Beastie Boys.
DJ Are you from Toronto? I think you're from Ontario. I could be wrong, actually. I can't remember.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Leave a message. Let us know where you guys are from. Exposed. Have you done like I thought you have you done Dundas Square or like Harborfront or some of the big like Nathan Phillips Square or any of those really big places?
I have done Nathan Phillips Square before. I remember one highlight for me was opening up for Third World, the group from Jamaica,
Wow,
at,
amazing.
at Nathan Phillips Square, and also the skating rink in the
Mhm.
winter. Yeah, I played for that.
Oh, nice.
Nathan
Okay.
Nathan Phillips Square. I don't think I have.
Yeah, I
No, I
was
don't
going
like
to
MC.
ask you your most memorable event that you've had as a DJ on stage too.
Hands down, and it's coming up to the anniversary on Monday. My birthday. I open up for Jamiroquai
Oh,
in
nice.
November
Yeah.
7, 1993, I think. 93?
Mhm.
That's yeah. It was at the Opera House, and it was basically it felt like a birthday party for me.
Aw,
And
that's
yeah,
nice.
first time Jamiroquai was in Toronto, and the crowd was so excited
Mhm.
because he was like a new thing, and he his music really does suit Toronto because it has all the elements that combine that we love. That the jazziness, the soulfulness, a bit of the reggae feel to it.
Mhm.
Um, his style really does suit Toronto, and I was lucky enough to open up for him
That's so
through
true.
Jonathan Ramos, RMG Productions, brought him here, and
Amazing.
I have the signed poster in my house.
Aw. I was
That
going
was
to
a
ask. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say one of the funny things I remember about that night was somebody brought me a gift, and I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
thank you." Open it up. It was Pop Tarts.
What?
It was Pop Tarts. She goes, "Oh, I didn't know what to get. I found out it's your birthday, so I stopped at 7-Eleven and got you
Oh
Pop
my
Tarts."
gosh, that's
I'm like,
hilarious.
"Thank you." And what's
Yeah,
even worse was
little weird.
I left it there. Before I know it, a friend is like eating them. I look over at him like, "What are you doing, man?" He goes, "I didn't know you wanted them, man. Sorry, man." I was
Those are
like, "It's
mine.
my birthday present, man." Like, it's fine.
That is
I'm
so
not. I
funny.
don't think I even had Pop Tarts in my life before that.
That's
But
kinda odd, someone giving you Pop-Tarts too. I don't know, it's kind of a little
it was
different.
it was weird, but kind of fun at the
Yeah,
same
it was
time,
that is a
right?
little weird, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, at least get samosas if you're from B-Town or get something,
Did they
jerk
have samosas
chicken.
in Toronto in '93? I don't
I
know.
don't know. Who knows?
Probably a little hard
Probably
to
not.
find at the time.
Yeah, probably.
A patty.
Exactly.
There you go. A Jamaican beef patty.
Wow. So we got at least, see, I told you it would go by fast. We got 15 minutes left, you guys. So if you
Jeez,
have any, well, hopefully it felt fast for you,
it
but
did.
if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys, and of course, add DJ Paulie Lopez, add him on Instagram and of course Twitch. You'll see all his events in the city. I hope to make it out to some of your events too.
Well, try to
If
come out this Saturday if you're not doing anything. We're
yeah,
having our
this
Scorpio party with Channel 9, which is in the chat. Am I pointing the right way? Is in the
Oh
chat.
yeah. Yeah, I
And
would definitely love to. Crowds I've been trying to avoid a little bit because I've been still like I had COVID in August. So still trying to like push shows and get back out there again, but
I
it's
hear
taken
you.
me
Yeah.
a little bit longer. So with tons of crowds, I'm like,
You're
I
still
don't know
not
yet.
comfortable yet. I hear you.
Yeah,
I'll
but
put.
I think I'm DJing in the morning at a gym, but yeah,
Oh,
maybe
cool.
if I feel a little bit, if I feel like I have more energy, I would love to come out. But I
It's
will be
fun.
coming out to your events definitely soon when I'm 100% for sure.
Awesome.
Let's see here. I'm just trying to see. Oh, Twitches says you're forever 21. Forever 21.
Forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, exactly. DJ Channel 9's like, I have his phone number. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat.
For sure.
I think Audio Ambassadors asked if he wore his hat. Oh, it was
Oh, he wears
Jamaica?
that. And
Yeah.
he actually smoked a spliff on stage.
Oh, really?
And that
Wow.
was like a big no-no.
Really?
Yeah, that was
Oh, at
legal.
Nathan. Yeah, you're
Le-
right. I can see that.
legal wasn't legal yet. So yeah, he said, "Shall I light this spliff?
Oh no.
Does anybody want a pool?"
So funny. I love the accents too.
Oh man,
Uh,
he's hilarious.
DJ Solid says, "What is the oldest flyer you still got from a gig?" Great question. Love
Oh,
that.
so when I was about 12 or 13, a friend had a house party.
Hmm.
We called him Chico, but his actual name is Esteban. And I still have the flyer where he hand drew all the information. So this would have been like 82 or 83, something like that. And that's the oldest flyer I have,
Wow,
hand
that's
drawn.
cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone, now that I'm thinking about, because you're such a music lover too, like, have you ever gone to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland?
I
Did you
have
know that?
not. I have been to
What?
Cleveland and didn't make it there. I would love
Oh
to see
man,
that for
you got to
sure.
go. I think you would absolutely love it there.
Oh man, I would love to go.
It's got so much memorabilia. Like you'll be in there for hours for sure.
And the
So
cool
I,
thing about Cleveland, it's actually not that far. It's a 5-hour drive,
yeah,
so it's doable.
It's about a
I have been
5-hour
to the
drive.
Motown. I have been to the Motown Museum twice in Detroit,
In Detroit? Yeah.
and
Okay.
I recommend everybody see that because it's the actual original studio with original equipment, original floor, original piano,
Mhm.
original mic cables. You go in there and just like it's mind blowing.
Yeah, that would definitely be amazing.
So
Now,
cool.
I also noticed that you know, seem to be an advocate for the Canadian Mental Health Association. You're raising funds for your birthday on that. I'm curious as to why, why is that important to you as well, like that
I've had
association?
people close to me that that have had issues, have had mental health issues. So any money that could go towards that makes me very happy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I love that too. I think it makes DJing and music much richer when you're giving back and you're doing something. So
Absolutely.
that's awesome. Make sure you guys Google that too, the Canadian Mental Health Association. I know he was raising funds for that, and that's something that kind of stuck out to me when I was, you know, doing my little Google searches on you as well.
Yeah,
um,
so it's currently on my Facebook.
yeah.
It's through the Facebook initiative that the fundraiser is there, and you could contribute. My goal this year is $1,000, but I hope to beat it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, definitely a lot of great causes, guys, to contribute to. So, and the more I talk about it, there's a lot of DJs that also, I mean, if we're all honest, at some point struggle with mental health, because you're always pumping a crowd in front of you, but like sometimes you also need to fill up your tank too, right? Like
Exactly.
when you get on stage, and sometimes you got to leave the stage to also fill yourself up, because as DJs, I think, and you could probably relate to, or if you're emceeing, if you're in front of a crowd, you're constantly pumping that energy out, right? Like to
Absolutely.
people.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's definitely very real and important to definitely take care of yourself too. Let's see. I'm just trying to see if there's any questions here. I see this from Twitches at radio. Let's see here.
Where's
DJ
late night
Stephanie,
place after a gig?
where's the late night place to eat after a gig? Great question. Where did the DJs eat?
It depends where in the city you are, but actually, you know what? I've kind of tried to stay away from the after, the late night eats after a gig because
Lots of
before you know it,
shootings.
well, not even that. To be honest, just like it's not healthy to eat. To me, it's not hasn't been healthy to eat so late, and also before you know it, you're seeing the sun come up.
Mm.
So you do a gig till like 2 or 3, and then you go eat, and before you know it, it's 6 in the morning, and then just messes you up for the next couple of days. So. Used to be Golden Griddle, used to be Chinatown,
Mhm.
Rolsan, or Swat Tao. Now I like lately I've been to Alberts. Yeah, Alberts for sure. I know a
What
lot of
about
people
the
go.
Portuguese place late nights on Sherbourne, I think it is, or Dundas? You drive
Sure,
there, get the little takeout Portuguese place with the big chicken and like fries. So bad.
George's.
Oh, George's, that's it.
Yeah, it's not Portuguese, but it's sort of like a
Oh, I thought it
Portuguese style.
was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
George's has been happening forever. I was actually asking if it's still open late night. I'm not even
Y-
sure.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
went there like maybe about a month ago. It was so bad, like fries
it's
and
so bad
gravy.
that it's good.
Yeah, it's so bad that it's good. And the Chinese restaurant, I can't remember the name, on Spadina everyone would go to.
Oh, there's Rolsan and there's Swat Tao are the two
Oh,
main
maybe that's
ones
it.
from back in the day, and
Yeah.
but I actually haven't been. Johnny's on Victoria Park and Shepherd. That's another spot, which is
Denny's. That sounds American. Denny's.
Denny's
Who's gonna go
is
to Denny's late night?
I think there's a Denny's in Mississauga. Am I
Yeah,
right?
there is. There is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to go to the corn soup guy in front of Sound Academy.
This is
That
what I'm
guy.
saying. This I now I'm a corn soup guy. Like
Oh,
that's my
he's so
move. If
good.
it's soup, I'm good.
I
Soup is
always
good.
bug that guy for his secret
Oh man.
recipe, the corn soup guy.
Oh, so good.
He starts laughing. He's like, "Oh, I'll give you another free bowl of soup." I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Nice. I
In
better
front
ask
of
next time.
Redemption. Do you ever go to those events? I think Redemption, where
You
they
know,
play a lot of lovers rock type reggae, I think there.
I have yet to be to a redemption. And big up Look the Bandit that puts that together
Mhm.
and all his DJs and that are involved. But yeah, I haven't been and I would love to go because that's one of my first loves. I would like to go to Lovers Rock Edition actually, or the Bob Marley special they do for his birthday.
Did
Those
you
are the
go to
two
the
main.
Bob Marley exhibit when it was here? I missed it.
I didn't go, and to be honest, I don't think I was that impressed with the preview of it. And
Yeah, I
people that
heard it
have
was really small and it was very expensive that they
Jason
did.
Palma told me the coolest thing he saw was you saw Bob Marley's shoes there, which
Oh
would have been cool
man.
to see. Yeah, but to
Yeah.
see his albums, and I mean, I have his albums. I don't need to see the vinyl in the museum, and I don't know how many artifacts they had, but it sounded like it wasn't like too overwhelming, too impressive.
Yeah,
But
when you go to Jamaica, hopefully you'll make it there, then you'll be able to probably do that tour. I think that
yes,
would
I
be
would love
cool.
to. Love
Yeah.
to.
So, do you have like a worst event that you've ever done over your time DJing that you really remember? That's just like, oh, this is brutal.
Oh man, well, I told you the drunk uncle
Yes, the drunk
stories
uncle
for at
story.
weddings. There's always the drunk uncle. Those are probably some of the most tense moments because you want to be respectful and tell somebody off all at the same time, right? So,
Yeah, that's
um,
true.
yeah, no, I can't think. I mean, it's every day DJ will tell you. There's always people asking for requests, and it makes you, it drives you bonkers at some point.
Hmm.
But I can't think of the worst. Probably the worst gig is being, receiving like threats from people in
Oh
basement
yeah.
parties back in the day. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah, yeah.
crazy.
Like,
So, what
yeah.
would be on your I mean, I know I did mention ask you, who you would want to work with, but is there anything, I mean, doing this over how many years, is there anything on your bucket list? Not even just with the musician, but just, I guess, life bucket list. Do you have anything on your life bucket list you'd like to do? And then also DJing, in terms of DJing, is there anything on your
Yeah.
bucket list now?
Well, it'd be pretty amazing. I mean, it'd be pretty amazing to produce with somebody like Stevie Wonder or Shaka Khan, two of my favorites that
Hmm.
are still with us, and bubble wrap those two so they'll always be with us, please.
Hmm.
um, in terms of DJing, I've done a lot. Like I'm pretty happy with things I've done. Uh, it would be great to actually DJ alongside some of my heroes. I would love to DJ along Grandmaster Flash just because like he was probably the first DJ I saw do his thing. Um, you know, in terms of hip hop and
Hmm.
playing breaks and all that. Yeah, just connect with people I admire. Really is the main goal.
Hmm.
In terms of touring, I was able to tour a little bit, and it's exhausting. So
Hmm.
it's not always something that I would kind of like want to move towards to it, but it would be fun to play in just for cool people all over the world. Really,
Hmm.
that would be a bit of a goal. Yeah.
Like when you traveled, have you opened up for anyone big too? Like I know you said Jamiroquai and like a few others too, but like traveling wise on
Well, I got
tour?
to tour. I got to play in New York a couple times for Giant
Mhm.
Steps.
Nice.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, that was cool. Got to tour Canada with De La Soul and Ivana Santilli,
cool.
and
Amazing.
still friends with Maceo, the DJ for De La Soul to this day.
Mhm.
Ivana's a close friend. Yeah, I got to do some cool stuff, but yeah, there's still more to come. There's
Yeah.
still yeah.
De La Soul would be amazing. They gave me the mic on in the crowd, just in the crowd at
Oh
Dundas
wow,
Square. That was
oh
really
cool,
cool.
nice.
Singing off key,
Hey,
That would be cool. Well, so yeah, I just want to thank you as well, like just for coming through. 2 hours went by so fast today.
man, I've been talking
Um,
for 2 hours.
yeah. Oh, we could talk. I'm sure we could talk for
I
another
thought I
couple
had like
hours too.
5 minutes of information for you that it turned into 2 hours. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even think I've gotten to all my questions, so I'll definitely have to have you back again. I'm just wondering too, is there anyone, because I usually leave it up to the guests to raid, to decide who they want to raid into. I'm not sure if you
Oh,
could see, but if there's,
I could take a look.
I know White Gold's on. I'm trying to see other. I mean, there's so many people on
Do
today
you
as
follow I
well.
am Chris Dubs?
Oh yeah, I do. Yep, yep.
Yeah,
He's
let's write
good.
to him. He's a joker.
He's also on radio too as well, eh?
Yeah, he's on Vibe 105.5. That used to be CHOI.
We just
Yeah.
got to make sure that he doesn't raid at 7. That usually happens like as soon
Oh,
as you're rating it. So maybe
yeah,
I'll
that's
wait
true.
a minute. But so you guys, if there's any questions, any last minute questions you want to leave to find out about him, then leave a message in the chat room. and
Yeah.
let me know too. And maybe just let them know again your events that you have coming up this Saturday, and if there's any other events, um, you could let them know about too.
Yeah, I wanted to again invite everybody in Toronto, and if you want to fly in, sure, down to Parkdale Drink on Queen Street East in Parkdale for our Scorpio party presented by Hot Stepper Pedro, and alongside myself will be Mike Toll, Channel 9, and Ice Misto, please, and it's gonna be lots of fun. And Scorpios get down, so the more Scorpios we have there, the crazier it's gonna be. And we have a raid train coming for up this Sunday. So looking on my IG, man's like DJ Solid will be kicking it off on Sunday morning. Then he's passing over to DJ Chela Soul. Into Nick Holder is going to be the guest with 83 West, Tyrone Solomon. We also have Agile on that lineup. We have Scratch Bastard and DJ Center from New York. Myself and Jason Palmer are going to do an all vinyl house set at 6 o'clock. And at 8 o'clock, closing out will be DJ KC, also from Toronto. So it's going to
Yeah.
be their vibes here on Twitch on Sunday. It's going to be
Yeah,
nice.
you guys got a crazy lineup. That's for your birthday too, right?
Yes, it's for my birthday and also the
Yeah.
re-release of my the 20th anniversary of my release that was put out by Virgin Records. It's called Whatnot House, and we're celebrating the first time it's been available on streaming. So
Okay,
if you search
awesome.
my name on iTunes or Spotify, Apple Music, you will find the tracks that we recorded 20 years ago. One's with Ivana Santilli called "Feeling So Good." Another track is with Sasha Williamson that a lot of house heads will know from her from amazing catalog. So yeah, those two tracks and one more are now available on streaming. So add them to your playlists.
Awesome, and happy early birthday. I hope you have a great
Thank
birthday,
you. Thank you. It's gonna be
too, and
amazing.
it's, memorable for you. You have, like, a crazy, ridiculous raid train lined
Yeah.
up, so make sure you guys definitely check that out, and this Saturday with DJ, Channel 9, he's an exceptional DJ too.
Yes.
Make sure you guys check that out this Saturday, and I'm definitely gonna try to make it to your event soon for sure. I'll inbox you, but we will set up the raid right now, I think. Actually, Junior, are you able to set up the raid? That would be perfect if you can do that. Um, Let me know, Junior, if you could set it up. And we're going to I am Chris Dubs. If you need the spelling of his name, let me know. I could.
Prepare yourself, guys. He's mad.
Yeah, he's hilarious. You could
He's
tell
such a
he's got
character.
radio background, like,
Yeah, he's
and
such a character. Oh my
even
god.
the other
Yes.
guys like Jay Online, like there's so many original
Oh, Jay's
Canadian
amazing.
shows that I love,
Jay's amazing.
doing,
And
like
follow
that
all
I
the
love
guys.
seeing.
Follow all the DJs that are. Which way am I pointing? I'll point both ways.
Yeah,
All the DJs in the chat.
the
Follow
first time,
them.
I think you were right the first time, right there. There we go. There we go. Like that. Yeah.
Follow all of
So,
them. And
oh, you got it?
thank you so much for having me. It's
Yeah,
been a lot
I
of
hope to
fun.
bring
2
you back
hours.
again and hopefully we could connect. And it was a pleasure meeting you, Jamie, and a few others at the Twitch meetup too. And, and if you guys are from Toronto specifically, or I've been interviewing a lot of British and, people from the UK and the States, which is great.
I
But I
got
really
somebody for
want
you
to
to interview. Big
showcase.
Stove is in the house from Cleveland. He'd be great to talk to. I
Oh,
want to
yeah?
learn more about Big Stove. Yes.
Okay, yeah, definitely inbox me, Big Stove. I'm looking for more people, but I'm also really looking for people in Toronto, in Canada, or across Canada. I really want to showcase not just streamers, but musicians and just show people what we have here, because I think the world still needs to see a little bit more of what's going on here. But yeah, I'd love to have you, Big Stove, too. You're from Ohio, you said?
He's from
Yeah,
Cleveland.
from
He's
Cleveland.
let's see if he's been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
He probably has.
I
Yeah,
hope
so
so.
I'm ready, Junior, too. If you want to set up the raid, that would be amazing. We're going to, Chris Dubs. I am Chris Dubs. So make sure you guys stay tuned for the raid as well, because he's another great DJ too. So we will wait until that is set up, and I think that's good. Yeah, to go. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and thank you so much again. We're just going to let it raid out naturally. I think they said that it's better that way because more people kind of go through. The raid doesn't cut off. So in case it does cut off, guys, we are going to I am Chris Dubs. So just Google him as well. And ensure you add DJ Paulie Lopez to Instagram, Twitch down below. Check out his shows, check out his raid and his events this weekend too. Should be really good. So
thank you, everyone.
All right, I think it's almost rating out. Sometimes it takes a little minute too to go through. But yeah, the 2 hours definitely went by fast as well. I told you it would. Always does.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And I think I can't talk that long. I just
Oh
did
yeah.
somehow.
Yeah. No, that's great.
It's fun to
That's
tell all the
really good.
stories and kind of explore the mutual interest we have, which is basically DJ culture and music.
Exactly. And make sure you guys check out Drop the Needle as well. The film I'm so excited to see it this Sunday too. And make sure you guys check out his events too. So I think it's almost going through. Let's see here. Did it go through? I don't know. I actually didn't see it move. I see it. Sometimes that does that. I'm not quite sure why. Oh, there we go.
There we go. I see
I
it
think
now.
it just went through. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay. Thank you so much again for doing
Thank
this
you.
interview. It was so dope. And I can't wait to connect with you again in
Yeah, keep
person.
in touch.
too.
Keep in touch.
Yeah, I definitely will. Okay. All right. Well, take care and I'll
Thank
see you
you.
soon.
See you
Okay.
later.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. Bye.